Welcome back to the 7th part of the Ultimate Photoshop course. Now we've already had a look at some grain and some infrared effects, but now I've got some traditional toning techniques I'd really like to share with you. So let's get stuck in. First up, let's have a look at a really quick way we can add colour to our images. Now I recommend this if you're just making a draft image or experimenting with ideas and don't want to spend ages tweaking and getting the final results. Now to do it, we just go to Image, Adjustments and Hue Saturation, or just hit the Control plus U shortcut, which is makes the process even faster. Now tick the Colorize box down here, and this is the magic option because that turns all our greys to colour, and it looks pretty good already. Just adjust the hue slider now to pick the colour you want. Around about 25 is good for sepia, and around about 230 for a good blue colour. Let's go for sepia for now, 25. And then adjust the saturation just to get the amount of colour you want. Now something between 40 and 10 is good, but let's try 35 so it looks good by eye, and that looks great, so click OK to apply. How easy is that? A more controlled and advanced way of adding colour to our images is using duotone, and this actually allows us to change the distribution of the colour, so we've either got more colour in our shadows than the highlights, or vice versa, or actually a different colour in our highlights altogether. Now to get there, we've first got to make our colour image to grayscale. Go to Image, Mode, and then Grayscale. We can then go to Image, Mode, Duotone. It's greyed out otherwise, you can't click it. Okay, first thing you'll notice is we've got one ink 1. We can have up to 4 inks, and we can change the number of inks by clicking up here on the type. We'll come to that in a second. Now with each ink we've got a distribution curve, which is the real clever bit about duotone, the colour of the ink, and the name of the ink. So let's add a bit of colour. The first one should always be black, because that sets up the basic contrast for the image. So click here and go to duotone. That will add a second ink. Now to change the colour of the ink, we just click on this little swatch here. At the minute it's white, so we can't see anything. And then we'll see a whole load of Pantone swatches come up. Now we can just scroll through here and pick any colour we like. I'm after a sepia colour, so I mean any of these here would look pretty good. Kind of this nice red one here. Or if we don't see an effect we like, none of these here take our fancy, we can just click on the colour picker and pick from any number of colours by scrolling up and down here. If we're going for a sepia, probably down here in the reds, and then kind of coming into the middle over here. We can see in our preview behind what it's going to look like roughly. I'm just going to go back to click on this custom button and pick one of the Pantones already available. Let's come back up here to the top to nice warm colours, and let's try that one. Let's click OK. Now the effect at the minute, that's rather dull. It's just looks the same as you probably would expect to see with Colorize. So let's adjust the distribution curve to get some really cool effects. Let's click here, and here's our curve. It looks very similar to the normal curve command that we've used for adjusting the contrast, and it does work in a very similar way. And there are all sorts of wild and wonderful shapes we can make here to get all sorts of great tone effects, but I'm just going to show you 4 that you really need to know. Now the first one I call the curve down, and we can just click on the curve, somewhere at the top here, and drag it down to make a curve. And you'll see that that actually pulls out some of the colour in the midtones, but it still keeps a very subtle effect. And this is really high end and really subtle. You have to spend some time when you're printing this out to get it to show, but it does look very professional. Now let's just reset this curve. Just click on the point and drag it off the bottom there to get rid of it. Now the opposite of that is a curve up, and we can just click on the bottom here and drag up. And this actually introduces a lot more colour into the midtones and gives a lot more of a rich effect. and that looks pretty nice too. It's a lot more pleasing than colorize. Right, let's get rid of that. Now the S curve. We've looked at the S curve already in the normal curves command for boosting the contrast, and this does actually have the effect of boosting the contrast too, but it also changes the distribution of the colours, so we get more colour in our shadows and our highlights, and this is a really special effect. Now let's just click in here and pull down, and click up the top here and drag up. Now you'll notice that this curve is actually upside down if you compare it to the normal curves. This bit up the top here, these are our shadows rather than the highlights, and these are our highlights down here. You can see the grey bar at the bottom here indicates that these are the highlights. So to add more colour to our shadows, we can just drag this up, and you can see that happening. Or to take more colour out of our highlights, we can pull this up here. We can actually add some more points if we want to get an even smoother tone, and that just looks great. You can just play around with this to your heart's content and get some really good results. Now let's just get rid of all these points again by dragging them off the bottom of the graph. I'm going to show you one final shape. Now by clicking and dragging this white point here, we can actually introduce some colour to the whites in our image. And this washes out the contrast a bit. Let's just try it there. But it's great for some really natural hand-printed toning effects. Normally works better in conjunction with a third ink, but we'll have a look at that in just a second. So let's just pick a nice shape. Let's go for a quick S shape and click OK. Now the more inks you add, generally speaking, the darker your image will get. So it helps to actually click on here on the black ink and just create a little curve down, just to lighten the tones up a little bit, not too much, just a touch, just to balance it out. And there we go. So that's our theory out of the way. So let's just have a bit of fun and make a good lit effect. Now for this first thing, I know I want a Pantone 7507, so I'm just going to tap that into the keyboard, 7507, and that's a very peachy colour. That's lovely. So I'm just going to click OK there, and then I'm going to come in here and adjust this curve. Let's just reset that by getting rid of these little points. Now I'm going to use this to actually add colour to our highlights, and with lit prints, that tends to be what happens. It tends to lose a bit of the highlight detail, and adds a lovely warmness to our images. I'm just going to pull that white point up, and that's about right, and click OK. But lit prints are also known for kind of different colour in the shadows to the highlights, kind of slightly cooler colour. So let's add a third ink. Let's click here, go down to tritone, and the Pantone we want this time is 7477. So I'm going to click here and just type 7477 on the keyboard, and let's pick this lovely dark turquoisey colour. Let's just click OK. And now for the curve, I'm just going to make a little curve down, just to reduce the colours off a bit. And there we go. Just click OK to apply it. Looks great, doesn't it? Now if we wanted to have access to all of Photoshop's other commands, like hue saturation, if we go down to image adjustments, you'll see that a lot of these are all greyed out. And that's because we're in duotone mode. So to put it back to colour mode, go to image, mode, down to RGB colour, and now you'll see that all of our other options are available to us. Hand colouring is simply the process of adding colour back to our image by hand. So it's not the real colours that we're putting back in, it can be any colour we like. In this example I'm going to add a bit of red back into this poppy because it's a bit lost against the rest of the image, and the best option would go for a nice red colour. So select the brush tool from the toolbox up here and go to the mode, click down and select colour. And this is the real trick, because this won't actually change the contrast for image, it will just change the colour alone. So just click on that. Now leave the opacity and flow at 100%. Now let's click on the brush. We could do with quite a big soft edge brush to start off with. Let's click on this 200 one. Let's click on that. And now let's set the colour. Now we're going to click on this foreground colour swatch. Click on that and pick a nice muted red. Now I've already selected the red. I've gone for kind of rusty, a rusty muted red. If we went for something right up here, it would be way too strong. And if we went for a pure red, just way too unnatural. So just picking quite a careful colour, you know, quite subtle to go with the rest of the image. And then I'm going to click OK. Now it's just simply a case of painting onto our flower. Before we do that, let's zoom in a bit, clicking on the zoom tool, clicking here a bit, a few times. There we go. And now let's just block out the main body of colour. You'll see that it's keeping all of the contrast, all of the highlights, and all of the shadows as they were, just putting colour over the top, which is ideal. Okay, so I've blocked out as much as I can. So I'm going to choose a different brush. I'm going to choose something a bit smaller. So we can come up here and go to like 65 pixels. Another really useful tip for speeding up workflow is to use the square brackets keys to adjust the size of the brush. And that's found just to the right of the P key on your keyboard, and just use the left ones to make the brush smaller, and the right ones to make it bigger. That's ideal for something like this, because that means we can whip round really quickly. Now a soft edge brush is ideal for these edges because they're all blurry, and we want that smooth transition. But when we've got a harder edge, like down here next to this bit of this stalk, we've got a very hard edge because it's in sharp focus. So let's click back on the brush tool, and let's just choose a hard edge brush this time. Let's go for this 19. And now let's just work our way down here. You'll see that I'm just going to hit Control Z to go back because I went over the edge there, and slowly build it up. Now I'm just going to go very quickly now so you can get the idea of what we're doing here. Right, I'm going to finish up and I'm going to come back to you in a second. Welcome back. I'm just finishing up the last edges here. Now I'm going to zoom to screen. Just click twice on the hand tool here. And there you go. There's our final image. The focal point now really stands out against the soothing peachy tones of the lit background.